So that's one way to visualize it. Sometimes it's more convenient or more clear if you visualize it along the sequence of the promoters. You can also do this. Then you need to calculate the GC content in a sliding window. You have to set a size for the window. So I use a window of 100 bases. It means that he's going to look in the first 100 bases of a sequence, and there he will calculate the GC frequency. And then he will move the window one position, and in this next window he will do the same. He will calculate the GC frequency. So each time he's going to move the window one position until he reaches the end of the sequence. And for that, I use the same type of function. So I'm still using a letter frequency calculation, but this time in a sliding window. So I give him one sequence as an input, the first sequence in the set. I tell him that here the window size should be 100. I tell him that the letters that I want to count are G or C. And I tell him that I don't want actual counts, but I want to get frequencies as a result. So when I run this line of code, I get a matrix with the number of windows that he has used for calculating the GC frequency. Again, I'm going to make a plot here, so I have to convert this matrix into a data frame. So I have converted the matrix into a data frame. You can see that now here. Again, this data frame has an OR symbol in the name of the column. I'm going to rename the column with a name that does not contain this OR symbol. Now I want to make a plot here, but the plot that I want to make contains an X and a Y axis. It means that I need two columns in my data frame. At this moment, I only have one column. So I need to add another column to this data frame that contains the data that I want to plot along the x-axis. What do I want to plot along the x-axis? Well, the position of the window in the promoter sequence. So these are consecutive integers, because the window starts in the beginning at position 1, then it moves to position 2, then it goes to position 3, and so on. So this is why I add this line of code. So this will create a new column in my data frame called index with consecutive integers. So when I take a look now, you see here that we have two columns now in the data frame. So that means that I can make the plot. I'm going to plot the data in this data frame. On the x-axis, I'm going to plot the index column. Along the y-axis, I'm going to plot the GC frequencies, and I'm going to add a line geom to make a line plot. So when I simply do this, this is the plot that he generates. So positions in the promoter, and here the GC frequency. So here you can see what is happening with the GC content along the different positions in the promoter. So some people add a regression line to this plot to make it more clear to see what is happening. So if you want to do this, I'm going to save this plot in a variable, and then I'm going to add a smooth geom to add a non-linear regression line to the plot. And that's the line that you see in blue here.